All right, looks like the stream is live. Hello, beautiful people. Oops, I just closed there. All right, cool. So, oh my gosh, we have a lot to talk about, guys. So this episode here of Blockchain Kingdoms is going to be about the crazy week that we've had in blockchain gaming. Axie Infinities blew up in price. Our planet's had a crazy week where the price has been dropping for the last like 2 weeks, and now we're getting hints, and who knows what's going to happen next. But Green Rabbit is coming next week, so I'm going to be talking about basically everything that has been going on, and we'll just kind of take it one piece at a time here. But let's go with the one that's furthest or closest on my mind, which is the Our Planet hint. Some of you guys may be involved with Our Planet, like I am, and we've seen the price drop just radically. If we're going to take a look at the Alcor exchange here, let's see. I started getting involved around this point. The price was 0.0016, and this was the rig sell that they did. Basically, the price was climbing all the way up here. And then after the rig sell, we finished out a couple of inventions that they had left, or elements, and then we ran out of elements, and then the price started to plummet, and then they basically released elements, new elements, 73 new elements. A lot of things happened here. Basically, one, there was technical issues where people were trying to craft, but they couldn't. Apparently, it had something to do with the Our Planet crafting tool. That's what the dev said, and that allows us to, batch a whole bunch of crafts, make crafting easier for us. And then there was apparently drama between the community manager Bonds and the community. Apparently, he was insulting them. That's what it looked like to me. And so then the price just plummeted. A lot of people just decided to exit, or a lot of people decided to lower their positions. I know some people who said, specifically that they were getting out because of lack of professionalism and also the, all that crazy stuff. And then because the complexity of the inventions increased, no one's been able to really invent many things. I think we've invented maybe something like 8 or less of the 73 new elements. And so no one's been able to really spend a Aether to do anything. So it's been plummeting. But we do have the next phase of the game coming. The robots, the developers are still working on that stuff. So where we've seen the price start to stabilize is inside of these hints that they've been talking about. So they've given us hints now for crude oil. They've said it's between $500,000 and $2 million in Aether to craft. I think there's only probably another 200 or so possible combinations that people could possibly do that might be crude oil, unless it's something radically really weird that no one would ever think about, which could happen. So if nobody crafts it inside of this hint, they're going to give us another hint about what the possible combinations might be. If it's going to use 2 or 3 of the same ingredients, they will give us that hint. So the price right now is climbing. It's kind of stabilized, but are we going to see this again? If we go in here, I wasn't involved in Our Planet right around here, but I think this is pretty much where where there was a land sell, and there was also the rigs that were coming in between I guess the middle of April and middle of May, and or beginning of April, middle of May, where we could see the last time in March the price basically bottomed out even like half of what it is right now, before it went on for a big spike. Now there's even more people involved in Our Planet than ever before, and our price is down here. And I think this might be a bottom. I mean, I don't know, because this is still new. our planet's new. This whole crypto space is new. The markets for NFT gaming right now are hyper volatile, especially inside of Wax, for a number of reasons. I think number one thing is that this stuff is still new. The market is still small, so the smaller the market size, I think the more potential for volatility there is. If I went back into Bitcoin, we could just do that right now. Let me check the chat real quick, see if anybody's saying anything. What happened to... Hello, Vishal. Hello from Mumbai, India. Appreciate you joining us. So if I were just look at like Bitcoin, like early charts, Bitcoin's early price history, I'm just kind of curious, like how volatile was Bitcoin those days? 2017, 2012. Maybe I just go to Bitcoin price chart. Maybe I can just go ahead and do it an old-fashioned way. Oh wait, CoinDesk really isn't. I don't think CoinDesk is really like the best. Just go to like CoinMarketCap. Whoops, currency's Gala. I was checking out Gala. Yes, I was. So I don't know how volatile it's been lately. This massive like 40% swing that we just had. Now it's taking time to load the data. Sorry. But 2014, let's go to all. So this was like back in 2013. Like, let's look at this little area right here. And where were we at? So 584, 522. So this was basically when the market started to get bigger for Bitcoin. This is when it started to get into like the 500s. But what about even like before that? What year is this? 2020. I totally am not in the right place. Still not exactly where I wanted to be, but 198. It's October 24th, November 26th. So it went up like 4 times between November 1st and December 1st. Yeah, so it was almost like a 4 times increase, and it started to make its way down. Gosh, how do I do this a little bit easier? Let's just kind of pull out the timeline a little bit more. And then it was about half that in May 18th. So maybe it wasn't quite as super volatile as Aether has been, because this is just ridiculous. I mean, just looking at it right there, I really can't find anything that looks all that similar to Bitcoin back then. But I think the big difference, as I've said before, between Bitcoin and Aether is that Bitcoin is basically a system that just continues to run. It doesn't really have any human interference in terms of the technology. The system is the system. People use the network, and for if you're a Bitcoin miner, then you just get whatever Bitcoin is then allotted to that distribution at the time, and it just runs like clockwork with no human interference. Something like our planet is different because it is run by human beings. They can create a Aether distribution out of nowhere. They can add the game components, so it's more chaotic. There's a lot more human manipulation, more human interaction in this type of system. So lots of things could happen with this. I'm invested in this because I have our major source cards, blockchain keynotes, we turn video gaming to passive income and paid work. And so just watching the space evolve, learning from other people's mistakes is very valuable to me. So this has been incredibly interesting. Hey, F. Mundus. I think maybe that's how F3 Mundus, Mundus. That's how you say it. Appreciate you joining us. But yeah, dudes, like the blockchain gaming has had an insanely crazy week. We have Green Rabbit coming up next week in, gosh, like 3 days now. On the 13th, Green Rabbit is probably one of the most anticipated wax games, I think, over the last month or so. Nova Raleigh hit it huge. Their packs went from like $10 to like almost like 200 or something for the at the peak for their normal packs, for just their standard packs. And Planet will go back. Our planet will go back up. Not financial advice, right? That's what I'm betting on. That's what I think is going to happen. I did accumulate quite a lot of Aether. I think about the amount of Aether I have right now would have cost me like thousands of dollars. Earlier in the year. So just a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, I'm in this space for long haul, so I believe in blockchain gaming. I think this is going to be like one of the biggest spaces financially in the next couple of years. We're still small, and I've thought a lot about this lately too, which is Wax is still a very small platform. We're not seeing commercials for the Wax platform yet or anything like that. And I'm just thinking like, what I want to do is I want to go in there and start to have commercials for Wax platform games, NFTs, stuff like that. I think people should be on YouTube and being like, hey, now this card thing is now on Wax, and my company has actually run into a lot of problems with advertisements because we're a blockchain gaming company. We've had Facebook come and say, no, you need a blockchain license, or like a blockchain license in order to run ads for your products on Facebook. And we're like, really? Because we don't think so. And they just basically just block us and be like, no, you can't. And so we've ran into those problems, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of other companies like ours run into the same problems. Anything they mention blockchain or crypto or gaming, those ad platforms, Google, whatever, just basically say no, because they think there's a risk there. And so it's really interesting time in the space right now. But once we're able to finally do that, like we're able to create Super Bowl commercials and stuff like that, like this space has continued to grow. I just saw that there's going to be the Saw from the movies, basically the Saw franchise. They've made like almost 8 of those movies or something. They're going to have an NFT launch on the Wax platform here soon. It's going to be really interesting. Visual says, what's your take on Mobox? Have you had a chance to look at that project? Something in yield farming. Mobox, I think I've heard of that actually. I'll take a look in a second. Keymailer is a good way to get gamers. Use it to get games to play. Keymailer. I'll have to take a look at Keymailer. First, let's take a look at Mobox. I think I know what that is. Momo Adventure. Yeah. I took a brief look at this. I think it's interesting. It's when you first look at a blockchain project, it's really hard to start to like get a sense of whether or not you want to be involved with it. Whether or not I think you have a future, what it's about. I think I did take just a little bit of a look at Mobox, and I didn't get too into it yet. One is because I'm heavily invested on the Wax platform, both as a business and as a gamer, as an owner of these assets. But I think so. Mobox, you go and you buy some of these boxes, and like you level up some of these things, right? Yeah, I think there's a couple of questions for me, like where are they based out of? I think like anything that's like based out of China or something, I'm a little kind of weird about when it comes to some of these games. Part of it's also just because of culturally, I don't know if I really understand some of the Chinese games. I know that I think, is it Axies? It's based out of Singapore. I know Axies is really popular. I'm really not into the cutesy thing on Axies. I think Axies is a really interesting project, but there are 2 reasons that I didn't get involved with Axies. Number one, well, I could say 3, but number one was it was based on Ethereum. And when Ethereum was like $4,000, it seemed to me like Axies was just like unusable. I think Ethereum was like what, only $500 or something last September, and sometimes I wanted to. I actually the first time I was actually going to go buy Axies back in September, and every time I wanted to buy an Axies, it was like $20 in fees. And at the time, that was just ridiculous. Like I would go buy like a $50 Axies, but pay a $20 Ethereum fee to buy the Axies. I was like, no, thank you. So that's number one reason I've stayed away from Axie Infinities. Number two, um, was that I'm just not into the cutesy thing. Like I've never been into Pokemon. I know a lot of people into Pokemon. I've never really been into it. I actually did play Pokemon on like a little Nintendo Game Boy for maybe 5 or I don't know 6 hours or something back in the day. But otherwise, it's never really gotten a lot of traction with me, Pokemon, and so I'm just not into that style of game. And thirdly, really where it is for me is to turn video gaming into passive income and paid work. That's what Blockchain Kingdoms is about. It's why I built this company. It's why I built the Metasource cards and a 5 versus 5 arena and our job token that we have a patent pending for. I did all that because I want to turn video gaming into passive income and paid work. So when I saw that you could play Axies and that you could only play so many times a day, and I saw that there was a scholarship program that people had built for the Axies. I was like, oh, well, that's really interesting because now you can have Axies and then have other people play it and turn it like into paid work. But then I saw an interview with the CEO of the company, and he didn't seem interested in that at all. Like when they were talking to him about that, it's almost like he didn't want to talk about the scholarship program. And I was like, dude, like that's where your real future is. And obviously, what do I know? Because they're doing very well. The Axies token price just went up almost like 150% this week. We can go take a look at it. But that's just not my vision for blockchain gaming. I was like, if he seemed interested in the, gosh, look at that. It's ridiculous, people. It's ridiculous. If you had bought down here at the bottom at $3 and you're now sitting at 18, yeah, that is, I haven't seen something that parabolic since Gala, I think. Yeah, it's I guess Gala was even crazier. It was like a 5,000% increase. But I mean, this has had that too, like way back here when it was like less than $1. Um, yeah, if you could have gotten involved Axie Infinity back when it was just like 10 cents. Now at 1856. But this is the promise of blockchain gaming, right? Even though I didn't jump onto Axie Infinity, I still haven't because I'm just invested in other platforms, and eventually this may go down. I think this is likely probably hitting the peak of its parabolic reach here. But you never know. You really never know. They can announce a big partnership, could just keep going up. That stuff happens. But I've kind of made my bed so far as like where I'm investing, what I'm building. But Mobox, where are they based? What's their vision? Who's running the company? Like, these are all like things I need to do. And I mean, to be honest with you, I'm kind of not into this art style either. And to also be open with you guys, the more blockchain projects that start to show up and I start to look at, the more I really start to double down on our business because there's a lot for me to get distracted by. Last week, I was largely distracted by all the stuff happening in blockchain gaming. Like I was all over the place. I was like, look at this project, that project, this project, and I was getting involved in all the drops, and I just couldn't do it anymore. Like it just became, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna have to double down on the work I'm doing for Blockchain Kingdoms triple down, because we have a lot of stuff going on. We have our wax launch coming for our cards. So if you haven't seen me stream or post a video in the last week, that's why. It's because I've been focusing on our business. We have a lot of things going on. Our 5 versus 5 just got its latest build, and so Josh and I still need to check that out and give it a play. And we're we want to invite some of our community members to come and play that with us. It's still super early, and I've always talked to Josh about, let's not show anything until like we're ready, until we have our own heroes in the game. I don't want to show the game off using only stock art, but I feel like I'm starting to change my tune, because this space is growing so fast. We need to get scrappier. We need to build faster, do more, with our team that we have now, and we're working on building up our team to have more people on the programming side, especially for the Metasource cards, and so the bigger this base gets, and the more projects I see pop up, it seems like the more I'm doubling down on the Blockchain Kingdoms projects. And one day I do want to have a channel where maybe it's not me all the time in front of here. Maybe we have somebody else, and we're giving them like a $500 or $1,000 in tokens in the beginning, to go and to buy items and to research the things and give you guys information on what they think about it. So I might not be the only one always on Blockchain Kingdoms channel, but it will be somebody coming here to dispense information and basically give you guys an edge in what items to buy, because I'm super interested in the market trading aspect of this. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying, these game assets are kind of what you want them to be. Visual says, don't mention blockchain to Facebook, just tell them games or play to earn games. Yeah, well, we've kind of learned our lesson now that there are things we can say or can't say. The damage has kind of been done there, so we kind of have to see what's going on. But FW says he's been following the Zed Run horse racing blockchain game for a while. They're out of New Zealand or Australia, breeding horses and racing, etc. That sounds cool. I'm not necessarily into horses myself, but I think this space has room for all types of interests, all types of games, gamifications. We're seeing that, I think, with the Nova Rally, with that kind of racing thing coming up. I mean, I'm not really a racing person, but the idea of Nova Rally I thought was really exciting. Kind of had that old Saturday morning cartoon death race kind of look, and really cool idea. And blockchain gaming is definitely going to grow, in your opinion, Optimus? Yeah, I agree. Like, I think we're still just in the beginnings of this. Once we start to see commercials on TV or YouTube for the blockchain gaming space, then we'll really start to get into the mainstream. We're not even close to the mainstream right now. It's basically just like people like you guys and me who are getting into the blockchain gaming space, and because we're interested in it. But yeah, I mean, even right now, to try to advertise this stuff is a pain in the butt. I think not just for me, but for other companies. I bet you almost every single one of these blockchain gaming companies do not have a blockchain license. That costs like $130,000 or $150,000, I think, at least. Might be $180,000. We don't have that kind of money right now to go and throw into a blockchain license in order to do advertisements. Maybe some of these companies are kind of getting there. We see Gala Games has been growing very, very fast. They've been growing a lot. They just announced a new game called Spider Tank. Let's actually go into the Gala Games Discord. I'm a gold member, so they give us some like sneak peeks of things. So if you're a gold member, the price just went up, I think, from $10 to like $50, something like that. Then you go into their Discord, you get verified as a Gold member. You can get some of their sneak peeks. I don't know if it's worth it to get the sneak peeks. They gave us Gold members an ability to get into the stress test. But I wasn't even able to get into the stress test. I think really important stuff does get announced. But if you really want to know everything about Gala Games, I think then the Gala Gold subscription is worth it. Like, they've definitely released a couple of images and things, and mostly concept art from games have not been posted yet that I can't share on here. But in the main announcements, what they've announced so far is this Oh, wait, isn't that? Did I just give? Yeah, there it is. So their Spider Tank project they just announced to everybody, and it's basically going to be like a MOBA brawler, just another game that they are developing, putting on their ecosystem. So it's really exciting actually because we've been following Gala Games for a while. They're currently based on Ethereum. They have Mirandus, their massively multiplayer RPG. I had some things up for sale on for Mirandus on OpenSea right around the time of the stress test. Basically, all the forges that I had on auction on auction, but on the market sold out like in a matter of a couple of days after the stress test. So I think they were having a lot of sales of things right after the stress test. So they have their tower defense game they're still working on. I think that's a little bit farther away than maybe some of us thought. We're all kind of hoping by the end of the year, but I don't know if that's going to make it. I think we're kind of hoping for a beta of Mirandus by the end of the year. I don't think, a beta or alpha is going to happen. If it is going to be an alpha, it's going to be like basically the earliest access you've ever seen for a game, because we're barely just getting started. It seems like Mirandus. I mean, heck, that game might not even come out until like 2023, early 2023. Massively multiplayer RPGs are the hardest games to make. Demis says Mark Cuban started back in Axie Infinity a few months ago. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's a good thing to point out. I didn't know that. I think Mark Cuban's a really smart businessman, and he probably just said, "Hey, Axie Infinity's like it's getting big. It's one of the earliest ones out there, and Pokemon is big. It's kind of like Pokemon, so he just probably crunched the numbers. I'm kind of biased because I don't like the cutesy thing, but Mark Cuban being a smart businessman, he just probably looks at the touch points, and he's like, "Yep, Axie Infinity will be huge," and so smart guy on that. Maybe I should give up some of my pride about what I personally like and start to open myself up to maybe just looking at the touch points a little bit more. But as a business owner, I'm learning every day how to overcome all the obstacles. Because guys, we actually come up across all kinds of obstacles at business. I just came up with more today. I'm not going to talk about it, but I was just like, okay, so this is just another hurdle I have to get over in the course of like trying to build a blockchain gaming company. And it just never, I mean, it really does amaze me actually just how many obstacles I come across trying to build this business. And I imagine many other people just like me building these games, probably even the big guys, face all kinds of obstacles all the time. And it's really, really interesting. And so Green Rabbit drop is coming on 13th. There's a couple interesting things about that one. Number one is you can get on the whitelist for that sell. But there's going to be 3 different tiers of the Green Rabbit drop on Wax, and the first tier that basically only 1,000 people were able to get into is what's called the Horde. If you join their Discord and you're one of the first 1,000 people to join their Discord, then you're in what's called the Horde, and that's basically the people who get the earliest access to the drop. Then after that, they have people who've been verified in their Discord, and they will be the ones who get the second shot at the drop. So to do that one, you have to join their Discord, go to I think it's greenrabbit.io or whatever it is, and just look it up real quick for you guys. So Green Rabbit NFT. greenrabbitgame.io. So you'd want to go here, join their Discord. There's a couple things you have to do. You have to buy this honeycomb from like Nifty Drops, and then you have to send it to an address with a memo, and then you have to do this CAPTCHA thing to become like a verified member on the Discord, and then you have to say you have to send like 20 to like 50 messages or something like that on their Discord to become active. Once you've done all those things, then you qualify for the what they call basically the verified whitelist drop on the 13th. Now again, this comes after the Horde, which you can't become part of the member of the Horde now. That opportunity is past and gone. And then after that, they're going to have the whitelist sell. That one's really easy. Basically, you just go on here for the whitelist, you give them your email address, and then you give them your Wax wallet, and then that will allow you to basically get onto the whitelist. But as you can tell, there are 3 different levels to the whitelist. You know, if we're watching this video and it's before the 13th, it might not be too late to go onto the Discord, do all those steps, get the honeycomb NFT, get verified, and then get into the second, basically the second part of the drop. I kind of did some loose math, and I think there is a potential for them to sell out of the first like 50% of assets. If everyone who's a Horde member bought everything they could, they get 2 opportunities to buy during the first hour, once every 30 minutes. Potentially, they could sell it to close to 50% of their inventory if everyone bought 1 pack of everything who's a Horde member. So I mean, even if you're going to get on this whitelist just by subscribing without being verified, I think there's going to be a low chance you might get any assets, because this seems like it's pretty hyped. The creator of it has been hustling and promoting this project pretty heavily. I think there's already like over 2,500 or so people who are already verified. So it might not be as bad as a giant free-for-all on the Wax Atomic Hub without a whitelist, but I think it's still going to be very competitive to get some of these assets. And I think the highest pack is like $250, and it has a couple of things can be staked. And I'm really not so sure on this game myself. I think there's some kind of weird things about it, but I like that it's hyped. I think anything that brings more visibility to the Wax platform is good. Because I'm all about that right now. I'm trying to think of ways that we can continue to get more users on the Wax platform. Because it's really going to determine like the value of our assets. If we want like our Nova Rally or our Planet assets go up, we need more audience, we need more market. And I think that's going to happen organically, but there are people like me who have our projects on Wax who we can always do more to let people know that the opportunity to buy these assets is here. Let's see. So May 11, 2021, press statement from the Axie company. Press statement released. Mark Sky Mavis Cuban said, "I think Axie is an amazing platform. It's fun and engaging. It's a game you want to play for hours on end. Add the Axie economy and you have something special. I'm excited to be part of it." So yeah, so I think he kind of speaks for himself right there. So whitelist drops have typically been bought out and resold. Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen with Green Rabbit here. The Nova Rally sell was really surprising because what happened was a lot of those packs sold for like $10, and then they were selling for like $13 initially on the market. And what was happening was I was there and I was like, oh, let's go buy a couple of standard packs. And I was like, okay, so I'm paying 30% more than the drop price for the packs. And I was buying just a couple of like $13 packs. And then suddenly like they were getting sold out really fast. I was like, what? I refreshed the page. They jumped from like $13 to $20. And after that, they never went back. They just kept going up. By the end of the day, those standard packs were like over $100. And I really did make a pretty decent profit on those cards. I also went back and bought some of the sketch cards, which, kind of started to even out my investment in those cards. But yeah, I think like if you just look at the peak, just look at the peak of what I had. I think I had 16 of those standard packs, and at their peak they were selling for like for $200. So it was almost like $3,200, and it's like, how much did I pay for those packs? It was like $300 or something like. It was almost a 10x for me on those packs alone, and that wasn't even including the rare pack that I had. But I'm still excited for Nova Rally. I think it could potentially be one of the best projects on Wax. I think something we've started to notice with Wax is that the market kind of boomed. Like there's a lot of people coming in, especially with our Planet. Street Fighter, MLB, all this stuff kind of happened sequentially. And if we were actually go to wax.atomichub, no, not Colonize Mars. Colonize Mars was actually the first wax project that I bought. And I've sold all that now. They came and they announced a bunch of stuff for the sketch card, so I sold everything. Because I just have to focus on a couple of projects and not be in everything. Let's see. So I wanted to look at the... Let's see. So here we were on May 10th, right? 5 April, May. So we're in July. So June is the 6th, right? So this was the Our Planet rig sale right here, and about $2.5 million in market volume. And before that, we had a bunch of other things hit, like MLB, which kind of kept us pretty high. And then since then, we've kind of had a kind of a steady decline in market volume. So we're kind of in here in the 600 to 500 range. But it feels like it's a matter of time until we get back here again, where some kind of massive project gets released, more people get in. And I also think we have to consider that now, this was basically right towards the end of COVID, where the lockdowns were about to get lifted, but not quite yet. So really good timing. Another reason why we probably saw this big spike. And then, here around here is where California lifted their lockdowns around, June 6th, I think, for COVID lockdown. And since then, you can see we've had this decline. I think part of it is just people going out living their lives again, pulling their money out of their investments, out of wax, out of cryptocurrency, and they're going and they're paying for vacations, they're traveling. It's summer. They're taking their families places. So it's almost no surprise to me to see this massive drop here, and I think probably the next time we'll see another big market fluctuation going up is probably going to be, I think, in the fall, like probably around October, November, before the Christmas season. I think we'll probably see a peak again there. But I think a lot of this is going to be dictated on people like me, who own companies, who have things on wax, and the amount of promoting that we do. There's going to be an NFT conferences coming up this year that we want to participate in, and so there's a lot of marketing for us to do to bring more people onto the wax platform. So careful you don't buy a JPEG or MPEG image. Whitelist only official stuff. Rush can lead to scams. Yeah. I mean, we're actually dealing with Wax right now, and they're basically saying things about our account, and I'm asking for specification. I'm not getting any answers, so it means that I might have to contact the CEO or manager in the company and be like, hey, we're going to be a big part of the platform, so what is going on? It's probably too much detail you guys don't want to know about, but this is just the kind of stuff I come across every day, building building blockchain gaming platforms. Not every day, but you know what I mean? Like every time it seems like we're going to do something big, there's some pushback somewhere, we have to, and I think this is pretty much typical of any emerging space. Whether it was .coms back in the day, so imagine just telling people they could use credit cards online. Like, what a fiasco that must have been for those early companies. I was involved in the early .com days, but I didn't have to deal with any of the, payment processing stuff. But I imagine, there's a lot of controversy, a lot of roadblocks, and doing a lot of things around, just .coms and just legalities, and it's new. Anything that is new seems to get a certain amount of resistance from establishments and people, the gatekeepers basically. Kind of seems like it's a thing that just happens in cycles as we evolve and create new places like cryptocurrency. So what do you think about Cola Block? I've seen it. I've heard a little bit about it. It's one of those things I haven't gotten involved with because I have to sit down, I have to play it. It takes time investment, and I just don't kind of have that time as the CEO of Blockchain Kingdoms. getting our meta source cards onto Wax, working to get our 5 versus 5 launch, bringing on developers for the meta source cards. I haven't been able to check out really Colablock a lot. I think I was looking at some messages the other day and people were saying that saying something about like they were having a hard time getting any earnings for profit, like they were running in place and having to do a lot of work, which in some cases kind of makes sense to me. Because again, the if you buy virtual game assets, whether it's Nova Rally, whether it's a Metasource cards, whether it's Our Planet, there's a relation to the asset that you have, the scarcity of that asset, and the market size that that there is for that asset. So there is a correlation between these things. And so when I saw people posting messages about Colablock and they're like, oh, they're not really going anywhere to like get more things, I'm like, well, if the market size is not increasing, if the potential market size for people to buy your assets is not increasing, well then yeah, you're going to probably see yourself run in place just to keep up. But the system itself is also important too. Whether or not it's advantage towards certain people, like the whales. Some systems are. Right now, Our Planet it's definitely been advantage towards the whales, but the other thing is those wells, if they don't have a secondary market to essentially sell to, well then of course the price is going to drop, which is why we saw the Aether price just basically plummet. It was because they didn't have enough of a secondary market to sell what they had to other people, so they had to sell off what they have to basically create a more of an equilibrium. And it's almost natural that it happens. It's like people come in, and we did see some people start to raid sell because of all of the drama and the technical issues, but it's almost kind of makes sense because those people have so much of the market share that in the long run it's not sustainable, because it can't even stay healthy because they can't sustain at their own prices. So it makes sense that they sell off. And the cool thing about the big sell-off is, especially if you're someone who's not selling off your elements and you're just holding all of them and you're just actually accumulating more, the potential here is that now you are able to put yourself in a better position, because the people with the higher positions, they've sold off assets that would have given them bigger gains in the long run. But since these tokens can be used to create new NFTs, the inventions, hopefully if you're watching you understand Our Planet, but basically you can use these tokens to invent these I just, for anybody who has no idea what I'm talking about, let's go to Our Planet and go into staking. And so you can see I bought like a ton of Aether. I was like, even if I sell this Aether, I might as well just buy a bunch right now to sell it later when it goes up. Why not? But I'm probably going to hold on to it and craft. But basically, you build these elements, and these elements then collect more Aether. So this is just one part of the game. They're going to add more parts of the game later that use the Aether. So what a lot of us are waiting for is for the use cases for the Aether to be spent. Right now I'm generating 22,000 Aether per an hour. Just a little bit more than that, 22,400 per an hour. And I have like another 7K in a pool right now for the Our Planet pools. They just are having their smart contract released in this next week. It's going to make it much easier for other people to invest, because right now you have to send them the Aether on a memo and all this stuff, and manually you have to put in the token. I think a lot of people might be a little too technical for them. Hopefully the smart contract, when it gets released, will be an easier way for people to invest in the Our Planet pool. But if you want more information about that, there is a Our Planet pool Discord. Gosh, I don't even know if they have a website. Our Planet pools. They have an account. Well, if you go join our Discord, ask about the Our Planet pool. We talk about it a lot, but basically they do have a document that you can look at to see how you can put money into it right now. I actually think the pools might be closed until the smart contract opens up, so you wouldn't want to send them anything right now, on July 10th. But you'd want to keep an eye open for when they open it back up. because I think it might be closed. So if you set them anything, it might not count for you until I open it back up. So anyways, this has been a great opportunity for new people to get in because the whales have been selling off a lot of their Aether, which has been dropping the price, which then allows people like me who want to be more competitive with Aether and craft out more of these elements. Now, if someone invents like a lot of small items and we're still crafting like $1.8 million or 1.8 Ether, 1.8 million Aether uh, uh, basically elements, that's not a lot. And there's going to be like way more Aether out there than there's craft. So people craft these things real quick, we're able to craft more. But eventually we're going to hit like who knows what Lambo is, right? You can do like a Lambo, a Lamborghini. But if it's up here, like in the 59 million, I don't even have 59 million Ether right now. But if this were to be something, if something that big were to be crafted, well, then that 8 Ether is going to come in really handy if you've been able to accumulate here. But I could right now build a couple of equivalents to paintings or music if I wanted to, and didn't have that ability before because it was too expensive. And if the use cases for our planet kick in, well then we're all going to be sitting in the money, right? Because then people are going to come back into the game to play it. That's how I see it. So any guess on what's going to happen on the super secret phrase? I guess you mean hint number 2. Is that what you mean, Rack? With hint number 2, I think there. I mean, I guess in crude oil, there's probably at least 2 of the same elements. Like here, like pressure had 4 of the same, lava had 2 of the same, 2 of the same. And I don't know, maybe what is bacteria? Maybe 580,000. So maybe crude has 580,000s. And once this gets crafted, this crude oil, once it gets crafted, it's going to get crafted fast. I think that crude oil is probably one of the most important elements in this whole series because they just released 73 new elements to be invented, and it's all the way in the beginning. If you go onto our planet and you take a look here at, hopefully this is what you're asking about, to check in with you and see if it is, or if you meant something else. But if we go look at the elements here, so here is crude. It's basically the first in this whole line. Almost definitely crude is needed to make plastic. Petroleum is a key ingredient in plastic. I know that. The developers probably know that's why these are right next to each other. So I think it's potentially like maybe just a couple of minutes after crude is invented, we might see plastic. It might be there like very quickly. And then do we need crude and other things? I mean, engine, I think is probably a very strong possibility. Maybe not cement, but maybe not limestone. I wouldn't think limestone. But engine definitely going to be part of Lamborghini, right? Lambo. And oil. I don't know. Photofilms, it doesn't really make sense. I probably just missed one that's an obvious. Oh, gasoline. Crude oil is probably going to be definitely chained into gasoline here. Gasoline probably part of engine, maybe. Yeah, so I think crude oil is going to be a big part of what's going to be chain crafted here. So what else happened in NFT gaming this week? So I feel like there was more. Gala Games has been teasing. They're constantly teasing things about how many developers they have. It really seems to me like they've started investing a lot of money into other video games, into developers. I think they said they have over a team of 50 now, and that doesn't even include other development teams working on the games that are going onto their platform. So who knows? Like Gala Games could be pretty huge here in the next couple of months. And it seems like we've been waiting forever. I've been following them for most of the last 7 months. Um, Let's see. Let's go to my image because I had an image. What else I put in this? Talk about crude. We haven't talked about Metasource a lot, so I know we're going to have a giveaway for Metasource cards. $10,000 in giveaways for Metasource cards coming in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to actually launch the giveaways very soon, probably in the next week. We have to see what's going on with Wax because it seems like they're giving me some pushback, and hopefully that doesn't delay the launch. This is just things we have to deal with as a company. We want to do things, but then we want to get on a platform, but the platform delays things, so we'll have to see. But yeah, so we're working on getting our developers for the Metasource tokens. Our 5 versus 5 doesn't actually use our Metasource tokens, but we do have a new build for that. We're probably going to test it with some community members, so be sure to join our Discord at the bottom. I'm probably going to test it with our Void Keepers, some of our early supporters first. And then we may open it up to other people. But I'm starting to open up the idea of showing people what we've been developing for the 5 versus 5 because we've been talking about it a lot. And we are using still a lot of stock art for the graphics and things like that. But the base code, a lot of work has been put into the base code. We can actually play 5 players versus 5 players. We can do the base gameplay. There's now like status effects like slows and things like that in the game. There's no movement production, so if you move around in our 5 versus 5 right now, everything's kind of like gliding around, kind of funky. Last time we had a test, we had some connection issues, so that'll be another thing that we test the next time that we test our 5 versus 5 game. I feel like there was even more for me to talk about. Like, let's just go through the Wax projects. Oh, like OLIVELAND. OLIVELAND had a big drop. Colonized Mars had a drop. I kind of stayed out of that one. The big reason was because I just can't diversify myself into too many projects. I'm really big right now into what is it? It is Nova Rally, and I may lower my position depending on, we have a lot of expenses for the company, and I may lower a lot of my crypto positions as we're continuing to grow. And some of this money is company money anyways. So so I stayed out of this, but they have all new things put in. They had these scientists, and people giving them flack for using the same art. I don't care. It's their project, whatever. It's like I really don't put any more thought or interest into Colonize Mars right now. I liked the idea of the concept initially, and they said that these cards weren't going to have a use case in the game, and then they got a lot of flack about that. I made a video where I basically had a lot of ridiculous things to say about that, but they've changed their mind since then. And so I sold all this stuff at its last peak price. Let's see, what is a dark matter card at now? 51. I don't know if this is a normal price. Let's just look at the template ID, view the price in the market. Let's see. So yeah, it looks like these are going for 45, so some last sells here. Yeah, it did happen around 50. It's probably not too shabby. I don't know what those packs sold for, but Colonize Mars right now is #1 on here, so they're going to have their Marsha token coming later in the year, but I imagine the price of these goes down. Wax is pretty predictable, I think. Like, something gets released, the price goes up, especially if the game isn't functional yet. Well, then the price starts kind of go down, and then and right now it seems like the market size of Wax is so small that a lot of other projects are cannibalizing from another one. So if there's a Colonize Mars release, you'll start to see a lot of money get drained from other projects, and prices of other projects go down. Meanwhile, that new one, with all the new stuff going on, the drops happening, goes up. And we're kind of seeing this cycle go in, which is why I'm saying, people like me who are building on Wax platform, we got to promote. We have to find new blood to come in and to basically participate in the Wax platform and game with us. This is, I think this is one of the most important components. Like if we were looking at when the stock market was only, a couple thousand people in New York City trading, and now it's basically like millions. Like that's the kind of goal that we have to have. We have to go from like being just like a couple thousand people participating, and it's more than that, right? But I think there's still like a very small amount of people participating in this market. But I think we're just primed for growth. We really are, and marketing is going to dictate a lot of that. I think anyone who has a Wax project, if you have anybody that you think is interested in Wax games, let them know. Let them know this stuff is here. This stuff is available for them, that they can participate. So I bought one of these lands the other day. So this is what Common Land selling. I forget who it was in our chat who was talking about this. It was Healthy or Jay Lazon, I think. It's probably, I think it was Healthy, who was really talking about all of these, what do you call it, these Dungeon Siege land things. I can't. Endless Siege Dueling, Nicholas came in and said that. Yeah, I think it was, yeah, so Healthy was one who was buying these. And so I liked the idea. It was like, oh, look, something where you can earn based on how many things you kill. And I didn't even know anything about the project. I just went, bought a rare for like 1,499 wax or something like that. It ended up being like the worst possible rare that you could buy because it was this one. It was a map kind of like this one. It wasn't exactly this map, but it was kind of like this. Very small map, like nowhere to place things. And it really wasn't earning anything the first like hour or two. And so I went back and I sold it for like a 300 wax profit, something like that. Now it's almost double. These are almost double from what they were selling for before. This one sold for 3,500, 3,800. Yeah, so I probably sold it too early, but didn't know enough about this project. I went and I played these games. I didn't like it. I thought it was mind-numbing. And so I was like, I don't want to stay invested in this long term. The game's just not good enough, and these maps I think are probably going to have limited use case. If they come up with like a Clash Dome, Dungeon Siege 2.0, and the game is like twice as good as that, nobody's going to play these maps. That's my opinion. So I decided to sell it for my little 300 400 wax profit, which I've been doing a little bit of that lately. I bought a bunch of Aether when it was low, and then when it had a little surge up to like 5 or 10%, I sold a bunch more of it. And then when it went back down, another 5 or 10%, I bought some more. So kind of made some compound gains there as Aether was dropping. And it's risky though, because you never know what's going to happen. But I started to feel like I was getting a sense of kind of how the news releases were going with the Aether price. And I was like, I can kind of predict that this price is going to drop at least 10% from here. And then I can rebuy. And it's risky. It worked out so far. But right now, I'm holding on to the Aether that I have, and we'll see what happens. Let's go back in the chat, see if anybody's had anything to say. So wax is 0.135. It was up to about 0.14 the other day. Let's check out the wax price actually. So crypto today kind of stable last 24 hours. I was almost surprised to see it go back down. And now that I see it going back down, it looks like we're probably going to come in for another dip here. Let's take a look at the price chart. So we got volume going down, price is stabilizing. I don't want to say it, but I know Ethereum's going to have, I think, a network upgrade by the end of the month. So gosh, who knows what will happen. If we weren't going to have a network upgrade, I would say Ethereum's probably going to go down again. Bitcoin's going to hit 28,000. I mean, if we just look at Bitcoin, but again, like Ethereum's going to have that 34 now. Bitcoin's going to have, Ethereum's going to have that release. Oof, I don't know about this price chart. I mean, this is the most detailed in terms of volume, but I don't know, we could really be accumulating right up in here, and it could go up again. I'm sure somebody with more experience with could have really been looking at these price charts forever. But yeah, I mean, if money's no object, I mean, now would just be a great time, I think, to just buy Bitcoin. Obviously, the great time was when it was like down to 29,000. Just buy a bunch then and just ride it all the way up. But even if it does go down, I think long term holding Bitcoin's a good idea. Um, but Ethereum, I would think Ethereum would go down, probably Bitcoin go down, but at least in the short term. But looking at the network upgrade coming for Ethereum, it just might go back up. When are we going to see $4,000 again for uh, Ethereum? I don't know. Maybe end of the year, maybe. Might be too early. Uh, it's kind of hard to tell because markets all crazy all over the place with inflation and all that stuff. But so Wax P says here, CoinMarketCap 0.13. It's up from our low here, 0.08. Yes, I did buy a bunch of Wax here. It's allowed me to accumulate, make some profits on Wax. Let's see. But yeah, we had a peak here about 0.14. Kept thinking I should probably sell my Wax here, but I didn't. And so we had another big dip during that last crash. Back to 1-2. And we're back up. Where are we going from here? It's generally going to depend on the rest of crypto. Ethereum and BTC. And I trade a lot on KuCoin. And the price right here is not always representative of KuCoin. Sometimes usually it's less. I think it's usually at least maybe 8% less or 5% less than it is on here. I think before it's been more. But usually it's been less on KuCoin than it's listed here on CoinGecko. Brick AVCI says, hello, mate. I just started to watch. Thanks for your great content. What's your opinion about the future of our planet? Yeah, we've been talking about that, and I think we're in an interesting phase. I think, we're hopefully hitting the bottom, but it's all going to depend on the speed of the elements that are getting invented and also on when phase 2 is going to launch. We've seen there's a lot of Aether out there, and we just need something to do with it. If we can't do anything with it, well then it's going to get sold, and we've seen that. And my opinion is that right now we've seen a great accumulation period if you want to get into Aether and use it to craft new elements. I bought like several $100s worth of Aether right now, and I think I have actually I have here 30. Yeah, I have almost like 40,000 Aether, and this, I never would imagine having that much Aether a month ago. It's down over like 90%, right? Like this is almost enough to craft, like money. I actually could craft money with the amount of FTs that I actually have right now, if I could actually craft money. So this would have been way outside my budget, like enormously. Just a month ago, but now it is. So now if there was something with this much Aether, but again, like the value of the Aether is going to depend on its use case. And it all depends on the developers. I can't tell you what the developer's going to do, but if they're committed and they get phase 2 out and we have, here's the number one thing. If we have something to spend Aether on, it will go up. And the more demand there is to craft using Aether, the more it's going to go up. So for me, it's very simple logic. Like all I need is something to spend Aether on. All I need is other people to spend Aether on, and it will go up. And if you look at the price chart, Aether had another low that was about almost half of what it is right now, even though we're at 0.00013. This isn't 335. This isn't the very lowest. The very lowest was right here. Which it looks like about half. How many decimals is that? That's less than half. Is there another? Yeah, no, that's about half. There's only one more decimal zero there. Um, but yeah, so we've been lower than this before, and we've been lower than this before our planet got bigger. I wasn't even involved in our planet until here, like during the rig cell. Obviously, got involved during the peak, right? But we've been lower than this before by about half, and we've been. I would imagine most of our planet community or people who are aware of it right now came in after this. So we have even more people aware of our planet, even bigger market size that can be captured now than before, and we're all the way down here. A couple things to consider is that we just keep producing Aether, so it's not like it's a stable supply of Aether. It's constantly being produced. So this is part of why we've seen this huge downtrend, is because it's Aether is constantly being produced by elements, and if we don't have anything to spend it on, well then people are just going to dump it. And even here at peak dump with crude oil being crafted soon, we're still all the way low here. Could it go lower? Sure. I think it has a potential. And I think it all depends on how you feel about the next chain crafts are going to happen. We have hints now, and we have crude oil. And the other thing is, I think we must be slowly coming on to phase 2 here. Because if we were basically at the bottom here, close to the bottom, and phase 2 wasn't even close, the developers might not really care to give us hints. I think honestly it's necessary that they start to give us hints. Now they're telling us, the price ranges on the items, and if we don't get that, well then they're going to start to share with us the how many of the same elements are used to craft. Let me type in Twitter for. I want to type our planet. Oh, they just posted the roadmap, guys. Okay. Bonds kept saying don't get overly excited about the roadmap. But we'll see what it says. But yeah, so I was going to go to this article, but let's instead go to the roadmap. You guys are probably telling me in chat right now they just released the roadmap. Oh, it'd be cool to interview you one day. I'm open, dude. Totally open. Do you have your own blockchain channel? I have heard of my DeFi pet. But let's look at the roadmap update for our planet. All right, this is what's gonna. I thought I saw the price going up here. Yeah, well, yeah, there we go. I knew I saw the price go. It was like spiking as it was sitting here, and I was just so zoomed out that I didn't even see that it went all the way up here. I actually think I had a sell order up here, but I canceled it because I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit on my Aether. I'm not gonna play with it right now because I want to see some chain crafts happen. Plus, I was going to do this video, and I don't want to, try to make any big decisions when I make this video, except for to craft. Hey, crude could get invented right now while I'm making this video, and then I would craft it on stream. But let's go back to that Our Planet article. All right, so many weeks have passed since the crew of Our Planet animals landed on the Our Planet surface. The chipped animals have settled in at their new home, and their work to prepare for a new life there continues. They've occupied some territory, started mining the various Our Planet minerals, and built an underground laboratory to move forward with the research of new elements. Meanwhile, as more and more settlers arrived on Our Planet with the hopes of new beginnings, many began to get anxious from the news from the main crew. What is the plan? They all keep asking each other. This is really meta, right? It's like us, but also the story. Us, the players, also the story, getting anxious. It's kind of funny. So finally, this is the day you all were waiting for. The Our Planet crew is ready to announce an updated roadmap. Oh my gosh, they have dates. Oh, holy crap. Presentation of robots starting. Okay. Let's take this one step at a time. On July 14th, backend UI optimization. The next update will include small improvements to user experience, save some time for inventors, improve efficiency for the game backend. Holy crap. So they might be incorporating some of the tools that we've been using on their own. Who knows? But I mean, that sounds big to me. July 19th, presentation of robots. The crew will publish the first article from the series, which will describe the conquest stage of our planet. It will describe the process of the robot creation, types and tasks of the robots. Also in this article, the crew will share the latest graphics of the combat robots. So types and tasks. I'm more interested in like costs, like Aether. How are we going to spend our Aether, guys? Let us know. On July 21st, user interface upgrade. This update will be the launch of the new user interface adapted for the upgrade of the lands and increased mineral mining power. Increasing mining mineral power, does that mean upgrades? Okay, there we go. July 28th, launch of the land upgrades. After the new user interface is launched, we will enable the land upgrade functionality. All owners of the Our Planet land will be able to upgrade their property and make it more productive. I don't know if I should feel stupid for accumulating uh, accumulating the weaponite and all those other minerals before the lands get upgraded, because who knows how much the upgrade's going to be, and what that's going to do to those prices, those minerals. But anyways, launch of robots. So Q3 2021. So we got dates up to July 28th, and now we're into Q3 2021. Launch of robots. This update will begin the next phase of the game, where players will be able to begin creating their own robot army. So Q3 is at least before, like, at the latest October, right? So the latest October, we see launch of robots, July, August, September, October. So maybe in the next 2.5 months at the latest, hopefully. That's the latest we'll see launch of robots. So launch of the Conquest game. This is when the real battle for resources and survival will start. Get prepared and plan now so that your robot droid army will be ready. There are many more game updates and a few big events that were not included in the roadmap, since we're not ready to give away all the surprises just yet. Make sure to stay active in Telegram so you don't miss out on any excitement. That's smart not to give everything away. Surprise us, with something, and I think that'll bring in more people, and they'll be like, "Oh no, I got to get in. I've been waiting on Our Planet. I should have gotten in when it was super low, but I thought it was going to die." Um, so just remember, you never know which FT element will save you when the going gets rough. There's no doubt for these chipped animals, the battle has just begun. So what does that mean? Maybe we'll have to use our FTs to either build or repair the animals. I don't know. Wow, that is pretty beefy. I think that's beefier than I think Bonds was trying to like lower the expectation. The guys don't get too excited, but now we know robots Q3 2021, which means, at the most 3 months, hopefully, unless things get delayed. But I mean, I think just the fact that we've gotten this far is much farther than most other blockchain games, right? So these guys are still way ahead of a lot of these other blockchain games that are out there. But man, guys, pretty exciting. Yeah, land upgrade launch soon. Who knows what that will mean for the price? Burke AVCI, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, might going viral. Let me know if you want to. And we may love to talk about things. Pretty open about our company and what we're building, our 5 versus 5 arena job token, our Metasaurus cards. That's really cool. Wonder what the people are saying in the Our Planet chat. Still waiting for that invention. I was kind of hoping we'd see that crude get invented during the stream, but I don't know if it's going to happen. New updated roadmap. What are people saying in the chat here? Sometimes this chat gets really unruly, so hopefully that nobody posts any obscene images. I've seen obscene images in Our Planet chat before. I'm like, did not want to see that. Did not want to see. Most promising game of 2022. Let's see. Someone captured this from Van. I have like 10 different reasons. Venoms already include ultra rich upland insiders. This is upland. This is something different. This was for 20 yellow kids. That didn't have anything to do with Our Planet. Let's see. The roadmap is straight fire. I liked the roadmap posting. And the really cool thing about the roadmap that just got posted is a lot of these dates are soon. Like the 28th land upgrades, um, that is like 18 days from now. Yeah, it's 18 days from now. And that's not long. That's like 2 weeks. I mean, Aether should be going way up compared to what okay, there we go. See, now we're at 1502. Should just spend all my bucks on Aether, but I wanted to be somewhat conservative. You know, I've been burned by this game before. But yeah, now we're way up there. I'm glad I canceled my sell order too. It's like if I wanted to sell, like I could sell even more right now. Yeah, yeah. I don't, guys. It's blowing up again. It's blowing up. Remember, we came down from all the way up here. Like this is where the basically the new elements were announced. We were we were like up 90% from here still. I mean, not 90 from exactly where we're at, but very, very close. So yeah, the way I see it, we have all that. You know, we could potentially do this again. So I don't. Maybe if you've been sitting on the fence, you're like, I don't want to buy because I don't know if it's bottom or if I want to be involved. You know, I can't tell you what to do. You know, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I think it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. We didn't even cover everything yet. We didn't talk about OLIVELAND. Got to give you guys my thoughts on OLIVELAND. Let's do that. Kind of don't want to take my eye off Aether right now, but we'll see what happens. I get message alerts if there's going to be a crude invention. Let's see. So the other big release that happened here was I haven't talked about Metal War game ever really. It's just because I'm involved in so many of the things, and I also knew that when I started to look at it, it was definitely peak prices. Um, it's not the hamsters that they have. What are the names of the things that mine? Wolf. Probably the wrong. I'm probably looking at the wrong one instead of whoops. I shouldn't go low. I should go highest. Hamsters. Hamsters are the apparently the really big in demand items here for Metal War. Let's see. So the lowest hamster right now is $489 because apparently it's like the most in demand miner thing. I think it's metal. If you want to mine metal, hamsters are the only things that mine that. There's about 2,000 in supply right now, and they're still selling for like $489. That's nuts. I mean, yeah. I mean, I haven't played Metal War. I just involved in so many other things, and I kind of have to pick and choose, right? And the one that sounds the coolest to me that I like so far is Nova Rally. They've dropped a bit since being where they were, and I think the most valuable cards in Nova Rally are these ones, the sketch cards, because like if we do this, there's only 24 of each of these right now, and how many drivers are there? There's like 12 drivers or something if we do like 24. So I think there's like less than 500 sketch drivers, guys, for this game right now. And they're not going to do another release until like season 2, which could be months from now. Yeah, I think these are still highly undervalued. They're just as much almost as the hamsters. And this game's not released yet. And these sketch cards, there's like a quarter of these sketch cards exist compared to those hamsters. And this game could be really cool. This could be a really cool game. You get to rate your cards. There's some, some risky elements that you can get involved with, like put your cars in the death race and your drivers in the death race, or not. I suggest checking out my video on Novaral if you haven't yet. Could be one of the biggest games on Wax. Could be at least one of the most fun, I think. I think the fun could drive a lot of people to this game, but we'll have to see about that. And so the other one that had, I should talk about Yoshi drops too. Um, but we should also talk about the OLIVELAND NFTs. Now, these are really interesting. Apparently, how these are going to work is that you can earn like tokens, like these will drop you like NFTs or tokens or something like that. I don't know all the details to be honest, but I think that starts in a couple of weeks at the soonest. I'm sorry, at the latest. And on top of that, you can uh, you can snake these in Nova Rally for boosts. So there were some interesting release things that happened with this where they released some packs. They were highly sought after. I bought some trees for like twice of what they're worth right now, and because I wanted to get it for the snaking, the snake boost. And then they released these new packs, and the new packs I thought they were too expensive because I looked at the prices that these were going for, and I looked at the price of the packs, and I was like, I could buy like almost 10 ultra rare of trees. Now it's I think more than that. Price lowest. Oh, these are going back up. I think these were like $8 before. Maybe people are buying them. Maybe I should buy some more. Um, I think these are probably going to go down from here, to be honest. I should look at when their when's their earning date happen. I mean, just give it a week. This stuff tends to go down. I think it's at least 2 weeks away for this the token earnings for these. But you'll be able to boost these. Now, the other really interesting thing about these cards is that you'll be able to get, basically when you buy these, they say you kind of own a part of the olive land that they're actually putting in the real world. So they're going to create like this farm. It's going to have olive trees and chickens, I guess, and other things. And when you have one of these cards, if you look at this, if this ultra rares, there's about 1,200 of these. You're going to eventually get wax back, and they're going to do it. They're going to put wax on a back token, and they're going to send it to you, and you're going to get that wax based on the revenue of the OLIVELAND. Now, I don't know if it's going to really send you a whole lot of wax based on what you're holding. And it's a couple of years. They said it's going to be a couple of years before they get their first earnings because they have to build everything and I guess get the land ready and all that. But it's an interesting concept. And, you know, it has multiple uses. It has use for Nova Rally. It has use for the tokens that it's going to create. It's going to have use for the wax back tokens it'll send you. It's also one of the first early projects, and I think we can't underestimate the value of the earliest projects here on Wax. But yeah, I thought those packs were kind of too expensive. It was like $125, I think, for one of their packs, and you had like if I were to stack the chances together, you had like 100% chance of getting at least one ultra rare. But I thought if they're selling for, at the time they're selling for like 14. Now they were 8. Now they're like $9 in Wax. But I mean, OLIVELAND, Sammy Snake, who is also the creator of Nova Rally, he's involved with this, and I know he's passionate about this and what they're building. And passion really goes a long ways on these. So Yoshi Drops has been getting like a lot of activity, guys. And they've been really consistent in their drops. That's the other thing. They're consistently producing. I've been getting these item drops from them. Like I did get a pack today. Last time I opened my pack, basically everything in it was not worth much, almost worthless. So I was like, hey, if I just sold the pack, I would have made, I would have made like $10 or something from selling the pack. So I did that today. They dropped another pack today, and I just went ahead and sold it because it seemed like the best thing to do the last time. But like, here's a Yoshi drop that I got. Here's a Yoshi drop that I got. I mean, I should really turn in some more of these Yoshi coins. I have like at least 4 more, I think, and I should probably get some more clears Yoshi subscriptions because I keep getting these drops that I can sell for like $5 or something, so might as well. If I go to my Yoshi collection, Yoshi, is it not verified? It's got to be verified or whitelisted. No, uplift Yoshi drops. There it is. I didn't see it. So about $56 worth in Yoshi things. I bought a bunch of these Genesis miners. Um, yeah, they're down from what I bought them for. Probably paid like twice that in wax too, actually. So it's probably down even more than that. But yeah, these memberships, um, these memberships are dropping uh, packs that are actually people are actually buying for like $5 a wax or $10 a wax. So I mean, it could be these memberships could actually be like really great investments in the long run. If people keep buying those packs, you get the pack, sell the pack, and I guess other people are buying them, hoping that they're going to get a good chance at getting like another clear membership or something like that. Really interesting, this Yoshi drops thing, but they're consistent. They keep making things. But yeah, the market here is really interesting. If I had anything that I thought might be helpful to people is to kind of look at the way the market keeps moving. Like if something is new, it can tend to be big, and if you're trying to figure out whether or not something is worth a certain price or if something could be worth more, is you'll have to look at the current going rate of what the items are. And a great example is actually the I was just telling you about what was it, the Olive Land. The Olive Land, the prices of their ultra rares were only about like 14 USD, but you had a 100% chance of getting one in a rare pack. I'm sorry, in the $125 pack. And the math wasn't there. I was like, I should just buy like 10 of these rare trees, and then I would be off way better than if I had actually opened the pack. And we saw that too with Uplift, same thing. Like, the packs were selling for, after the initial pack sale ended, they were selling for more than the miners were actually selling for. So that's kind of after you do the math. I think if you want to see if like something's going to be big or if it's having market growth or market shrinkage, you really just have to look at especially if it's just been released in their packs, look at the value of the items versus the value of the packs. And if the value of the items keeps going up, well, then you probably want to get some more of those packs. And vice versa. The value of the items keeps going lower means the packs are probably going lower. But I think for most of this stuff, if you're going to hold long term, there's potential for a lot of it to go up if it has a use case. I made a mistake of buying like a piece of digital art from Ethereum. Was it Eternity chain? And then I later found out that they did things I think were stupid mistakes with their platform. And so basically what I bought from them has mostly been worthless, right? So, no one's sold it, even though I've tried to sell it for like 30% of what I bought it for. But that was art that had no real use case. It was like one of the first things ever sold on on Eternity chain. It was like the first thing next to, the other higher priced items in the same batch. But yeah, you can already see Clash Dome NFT is starting to move down the. I don't know why Alien Worlds is back up again. Let's look at the lands. I remember when I wanted to buy some of these at $1,000, but I didn't because I just had too much going on at the time, and with our releases and our crowdfunded equity raise at the time. But yeah, these were I think around 8,000 for a while. I think their peak was close to like 14,000, maybe 15,000 per these lands. And I hear a lot of people keep saying that they're selling their Alien World things. Whether or not one of these lands is actually worth $3,000, I don't know. I think it's a little too rich for my blood right now for what I'm involved with. But yeah. So anybody have any other projects they want me to cover? Anything else they want me to talk about? It's been a while since I looked at the chat. Some of us are probably all just waiting for crude to get crafted. Waiting for crude to get crafted in our planet. Yeah, but if you're watching the live stream and you have any other questions about any of these other projects that are out there. Green Rabbit. So if you do get on the Green Rabbit verified and you come in here and you get these, it looks like they just posted a new trailer here. If you do become like an active rabbit, you have to stay active in order to apparently to keep your whitelist access there. So I go into the White Rabbit chat every once in a while, drop a GIF or something. Let's turn on the sound.
And reveal a new behemoth. A chasm is about to appear in the metaverse and reveal a new behemoth. Our most respected wax heroes have been on a mission to destroy the bots and overcome the stagnation in the wax universe. It was clear that without progress, everything of value was at stake. They knew that some had risked it all just to get here, and now they were left with nothing but uncertainty. Our heroes were tired of letting autonomy and secrecy take over the metaverse, all while risking the greater economy. Operation T420 begins. On a mission, Envenom rallied fellow heroes to build the tools they would need to tear that metaverse wide open.
Guys at their competitor.
The heroes rallied their communities, spreading word of a new planet that needs help battling more greedy overlords on a planet called Nanotopia. A victory on Nanotopia also sends the promise of solutions to their own ecosystem. Nanotopians have flash drives and anima armor technology that would solve many of our own similar problems. Soon, they recruited a horde that was ready to go defend Nanotopia with hopes of saving their own home in the process. July 13th will be the day we, as members of the horde, will be able to start anima armoring up for our journey to the planet Nanotopia. As we set out to take on the reptilian overlords, we want to make sure that you're ready when this rocket lifts off.
Ironically, it's starting to sound
Any pack you purchase will give you all of the essentials you need to survive in Nanotopia. Even if you can only afford the $10 pack, you have everything you need to participate in Operation T420. That $10 pack includes a lore tablet, a flash drive, art, and even some Shellilium. Just like that, you're going to be crafting anima armor and staking. Want to up the stakes with a chance to obtain higher rarities and more power? Then the premium pack might just be what you're looking for. Are you hyped for the revolution? Need special abilities? Need all the powers in the metaverse? Then this crate comes with a 3D figure that has unknown special abilities. You'll also receive an exclusive bonus pack with better odds to pull high rarities and a chance to pull a 1-of-1 Albert Mythic. The pack drop will be happening on Atomic Hub. Join the Green Rabbit Horde in Discord for all the updates prior to the drop. And NFT Gamer TV will be live streaming the pre-launch party the night before, July 12th at 8 PM PST. Left House will be live in person and I will be bringing it live on NFT Gamer TV.
I wonder if that's the creator there voicing this. It sounded kind of normal. But it says public sell, not guaranteed. I'm surprised they think that the website greenlist might actually have some packs left. I know, looking at it, I mean, I think some of these packs might not last past the verified greenlist. But I'm going to post this in our Blockchain Kingdoms Discord. If you're not joined our Discord, go ahead onto our Discord here. Join us. Oh, wow. Looks like there's been some activity in here. Let's see, just I'm going to share that with the guys in Discord. Be sure to join our Discord. Link at the bottom of this video. We talk about wax gaming, blockchain gaming all the time. Let's see, G-Fans came in. Hello, G-Fans. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, so we've started to move our wax cards onto the, we've officially started to do it. We've started to send our cards to owners of our wax cards. So if you buy one of our cards, I will send a request to you for your Wax wallet, so we can send your card to your Wax wallet. I still need to put that functionality into the actual website, and preferably we want to do this all as drops on the Wax platform. We're kind of doing some stuff with Wax right now to get our things whitelisted. And so we'll have to see how much time that takes to get whitelisted, and that is a process. But we need to be whitelisted in order to actually do drops. Worst case scenario, we just keep it on the website, and you pay us, and then we send it to you via Wax. We send it to via Wax just as a transfer, and so yeah, so lots of stuff to do. But if you buy your cards here on the shop, we'll send it to you now on on the Wax platform, because we now have all these cards on Wax, and I'm almost fully through the list. I'm getting through the last of the people who have bought cards and have emailed me. If you have bought a card and you've not gotten an email from me, let me know. Go into our Discord, link at the bottom of this video. Let me know that for some reason you didn't get the email and you bought a card, and I'll just check your email versus our purchase list and get your card sent to you. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, this was a really fun stream. Thank you guys for joining me. We've done the math. We're about almost half sold out of all of our Metasaurus cards right now, and we're launching on Wax in the next couple of weeks. Giveaway information is coming soon for the 10,000 giveaways, and if you own Metasaurus cards, you will basically be part of a raffle for a big part of that $10,000 in giveaways. If you don't own a card, you can still join the giveaway, but if you do own cards, you'll get an exclusive set access to those cards that we're giving away. So you'll be eligible based on how many cards you own. You'll get points for that raffle. So yeah, so remember to like and subscribe, and we talked about Wax Gaming. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video.